Hey guys, welcome to the Stars in the Making. My name is Rico Rongolo, Shams Vision behind the camera. Today we have a very special guest. She is, her name is Metta, and she goes to Boston University. And she's here. She leads an app called Campaign USA, and she's gonna explain a little bit about her story and about the app. So let's welcome the one and only Metta. How are you?
Hi everyone, my name is Metta Santoso. I'm currently a senior at Boston University. And in campaign.com, I am a programs and communications team lead. And so yeah, that's kind of what I do.
That's great. So Metta, before I go into the app, start up talking about the app, talk to me about what is your journey from Indonesia to here. What makes you like doing business?
So I think from Indonesia to here, it's always been my mom's dream for me to go to the US.
Beautiful.
As is any parents, they want their kids to have a really good education. But as for business, as for marketing, I've always been a very creative individual.
Yeah.
And at first, I really wanted to go to art school, but I realized that that was not the path for me. Like, I think I really enjoyed creative thinking, not creative production and not creative like creating things.
Wow.
And so that's why I chose marketing. And as I went through my college life, I actually realized that this was the right path for me. Like marketing was the right path for me. Because in marketing, I really, really love that you're able to kind of give a voice to things and to people that previously did not have a voice.
Wow,
You know?
that's really awesome. We are very glad as Stars in the Making, we need young leaders, like have critical thinking just as you are, but not following somebody, maybe vision or whatever. But I'm really glad that you're doing what you love. And I know for sure, like the journey from Indonesia to here, just as being an international student, and you guys are on this, developing this app, I was able to go through everything, like on the app, on Instagram, what you guys are doing. You guys talk about really great things. You guys are for like equal rights and all that kind of stuff. You guys talk about, there is this post where I saw about Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King. And the moment I saw that, I was like, no, they are for good. They are definitely for good. And, you know, what we were talking, I wanted you to explain about like, how this app started, like what is your idea, everything like behind it, the deepest idea. What do you guys most want to target?
I guess a brief background for the app first. Campaign.com is a social action platform, and we kind of connect organizations with sponsors to help these organizations raise funds, because we know like a lot of organizations, especially if they're working for issues like social issues, it might be harder for them to kind of raise money. And so we decided to create kind of this platform to connect these sponsors and organizations to kind of help them in that realm. And so I guess you asked more about the purpose.
Yeah, so when you say kind of help them, do you guys have a specific target that who you guys like are helping right now, raising money for any specific thing?
So I mean, our app lies on 4 pillars of social issues. So health, education, equality, and the environment.
Beautiful.
And so most of the social campaigns are about that.
Yeah.
And so currently the current ongoing campaigns, we're collaborating with this company called Gear Inc. Recovery, and that's about mental illnesses and kind of trying to...
What is the call again?
The company?
The thing that you just mentioned, like you call, it's like a social thing that you said?
The 4 pillars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those are the types of campaigns that we do on the app. So social campaigns only. And so I think I mentioned previously that the Gear Inc. Gear Up for Wellness, that's the name of the campaign, is one of the campaigns that currently is ongoing. And that revolves around like mental health and kind of encouraging people to kind of speak up about their mental health and people who have supported them previously.
Wow, that's great. So how many countries that you guys have target like right now?
Actually, the US is only our second country.
Oh, wow.
So I think our CEO, William Gondo Kusumo, he saw a big opportunity in the US, especially during COVID, right? You know, a lot of things happened in 2020 where a lot of issues and racial tensions were being brought about to the public.
That's true.
And so I think that was globally publicized, and it even reached our country, Indonesia. And so we thought that, hey, I think the US is the perfect place to kind of bring this platform to, because people really need a safe space to speak out about their opinions and tell their stories.
That's beautiful. When you say about telling our stories, their stories, that's a very beautiful, it's one of the topics that we mainly focus here on the Stars in the Making. It's the freedom of telling our stories and where we're coming from, because nobody can tell our story better than us, and that's just true to the core. And these up, the work that you guys are doing is such a beautiful thing. And it's like, I saw a few videos that the hashtag for change, and they all are young people that are really ready to make a change in the world. And I'm really, really appreciate that. And I see that this is going to go really far. And explain to me about, talk to me about the CEO. Like, what is the idea, like, for the future? Where do you guys want to go?
For our CEO, I think that he really hopes that campaign can become like that safe space and that go-to platform where people go and share their stories online, Like, I mean, personally for me, I remember that before I was in campaign, I was already trying to share my stories online and like try to advocate for different social issues. And that came with a lot of backlash, right? I faced backlash even from my own friends. Like, my Instagram is private. And so my own friends were kind of like criticizing me about the social issues I was talking about because they didn't understand.
They don't, exactly.
And so that's why I really advocate, and I'm really happy that I'm working for this app, because I think it really serves that need for people like me who really want to speak up but are scared or like are worried about what other people think.
Wow. What you said about the social, how the backlash and things like that, this is, I think, is a number one thing that most people are scared of. I see people with great ideas. They have great ideas. They want to help some cause, but just because of like they are worried so much what maybe like what people are gonna think or what my friend is gonna say and things like that. Just for you by mentioning that at 20 years old, and that's just like that gives me goosebumps. And how do you deal with all that problem? Because you have your self-confidence and everything, like just the way you talk, you can tell you up to something big. So how do you deal with that now?
Like backlash?
Yeah, like backlash.
Yeah, I think I remember I started just speaking out like 2-3 years ago, and honestly, it was really hard for me. The first time I kind of got that DM about people like kind of being like, what are you talking about? It doesn't matter here. And so at first I was kind of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk more and shouldn't speak out. But I think as time went on, I really realized that, it's bigger than that backlash, like what you're educating and what you're trying to put out there. Like it might be one person who is feeling like this, or like 2 people or 3 people. But then maybe like that single story that you're posting about a social issue that you're passionate about is slowly educating people who weren't aware of this at all.
Exactly.
The fact that they're already responding with that kind of, even though it's negative, they're being aware of it now.
That's all right. So a story is very powerful. Telling your own story. I was talking about with a friend of mine. He actually went through foster home after foster home, and he was always it's pretty much the same thing that we are talking. He was shy talking about it, like when we are among friends and all that stuff. I tell him, come to the Stars in the Making, tell your story, because you never know who is listening. The end of the day, there is a kid out there who is going through the same problem that you went through. Is the dean in the college. He overcame all that. I said, regardless of what you're gonna say, it doesn't matter. That's your story, and you gotta carry that story with you. And when you are able, the power, I believe in the power of sharing stories, like your own story, because at the end of the day, you are helping someone who is going through that issue at that time, at that moment, who doesn't believe like in himself or herself. But by you telling that story, if it's someone, I'll go back to my friend, he's been going through, issues as well, doesn't have parents and stuff like that. By telling that story that you succeeded, even though you were going through that specific problem, you can help someone overcoming that. Because for me, I went through a lot myself, and I overcame like this being scared of camera and stuff like that, just by I got to the point that, okay, I don't care, I need to share my story so I can help someone who in the same position that I was one day, and so they can develop like that self-confidence that, okay, I'm gonna do this. That's the power of putting yourself out there. It's not about to be famous or so. When we started Stars in the Making, actually, my good friend is Shams Vision. She's behind the camera now, and the idea, once I shared this idea with him, I was like, okay, I'm all for that, because it's something to help people. It's not like we're gonna be famous, we're gonna have so much money and stuff, but it's the ability of helping someone who is out there and listening to you, is in in a bad position. Maybe when he sees that, he can say like, okay, I can do this. If that person did that, I can definitely do this. And what you guys are doing is something very, very powerful, and I know for sure you guys gonna go far with this. And I wanted to come in a point, just going back to what we were talking regarding you guys are targeting US now. So once you guys do you guys have a plan to go all over the world, like targeting every single country, or just like concentrating in USA in Asia?
I think that in the future, that's very, very likely that we would want to kind of explore new countries and explore new regions, depending on the demand, of course. But I think as for now, since we're very, very small still in the US, I think our focus right now, in terms of our 5-year goal in the US, is to kind of maybe work with bigger organizations or like gain sponsors, maybe from companies.
Of course.
Who weren't aware of these different social issues.
Yeah, that's true. I think when you say like different organization, everybody, as we can see, Amazon or whatever company that you can see now, that Google, that they're up there, they started from the very bottom, and some of them they started in the garage. I think that's the belief that we gotta have. And I always put myself into a goal. I don't see the obstacles or the issues that I'm having right now. But for us, we're startups. We are starting up by looking at the goal, where we're going. I think that's the focus, and we're gonna get there eventually by not giving up. And you talking about the organization, you say you guys are associating with some organization. Can you go deeper into that?
I think I mentioned before that we were doing the mental health campaign with Gear Inc. Recovery.
Gear Inc. Recovery, okay.
And we're also doing kind of an equality campaign with the community Truth. And so for that one, we are kind of just trying to educate and bring up awareness about people with different socio-economic backgrounds and people from different racial backgrounds, like everything, honestly. Beautiful. We're just trying to educate people that even though you're from a different background, we do have some similarities.
Of course, we have many similarities. Another thing I wanted to touch, when we were talking about your background, you said something about your parents, like your mom. You were the only child, and what is the how do you really started? What is the inspiration? You say your parents, they inspire you a lot. And can you go deep on that? I really love that part.
So right now, this current state of our family, we're well off. I would say that.
Yes.
But then it didn't come without the blood, sweat, and tears of my own parents. My parents, currently we live in a capital. We have a house.
Beautiful.
But then, 20, 30 years ago, they were hustling. They came from a small village outside of the capital, Indonesia.
Right.
A really, really small village outside, even small town. It's literally a village.
Wow.
I cannot emphasize that enough. And so they came to Jakarta, which is my hometown.
Beautiful.
And then they just worked a lot. And then I just remember growing up, both of my parents are in this business. And so my mom would be leading the company in Indonesia, a small company. And then my dad would be going off to China every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And so a lot of my childhood, I kind of missed that with my family.
Wow.
But then I think when I was younger, I used to resent it more. But then I think growing up, that's kind of what you do for your family, especially for your children. And so it's from their hard work that I'm constantly motivated, and that I constantly kind of want to put my best in all of the things that I do.
Beautiful. Wow, that's very powerful. And one thing, where do you see yourself a few years from now, 10 to 20 years from now? Where do you see yourself? Developing an app or doing something extraordinary for your country, helping your parent, your community? Where do you see yourself?
Not sure about the app, but what I'm sure of is that I want to start a business, and that I hope that my business could help the community around me, just like Campaign has. I hope that, I can kind of create a business that can help fight against the social stigmas in Indonesia. Because I really do hope and plan to come back to Indonesia after I've graduated.
Wow.
Because I was born there, I was raised there. I really wish that I can be part of the change that comes to my country.
Wow. I love that. I love that part. Thank you for saying that. Wow, that was awesome. For the last question before we go to the game, we have a little game we go through all the time with every guest. I wanted to know, what is it something powerful that you want to say to someone? This is the question I do all the time because it's so, it's very important. There is someone who is watching you, maybe is in a really chaotic situation, and he wants to hear some uplifting words from you. Somebody who is studying something or whatever. Just you want to be a student, maybe in Boston College, or what are you doing? And what do you want to say to those people?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned being a college student, kind of facing all the troubles that I did, is to kind of stay true to your values. Once you stay true to your values, your values will direct you to your end goal. And so, when you think of this big end goal, you will also think that it's such a big hurdle and it's such a big leap from where you are right now. And so make sure that you stay true to your values and take it one day at a time. And those smaller goals will help you see those small achievements that have led you to the final end goal.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm really inspired with those words. Thank you so much. And again, we're going to go to the game. I hope you love it. Let's go to the game. Yep, so we're going to go for the game. You can go with that, not too hard. Let's see who's going to stop. Like that. Oh, I wanted the best advice and it's just gone. Biggest role model. That's really good. Do you have one?
Yeah, I think my biggest role model is my mom.
Wow.
I think that's always been my answer since kindergarten. I
Beautiful.
Remember when I was in kindergarten, I even wrote a letter to my mom, or they pasted it on the bulletin board, and then she just kept the letter until now.
Wow, that's powerful. That's awesome.
And my biggest role model is my mom because, in Indonesia, there's still these gender standards where sometimes it's gotten better, definitely, but sometimes it's kind of considered weird where if you're a woman, you're kind of doing most of the work. It's still a stigma there.
Right.
And so, being that she is kind of the working woman in my family, she really became a really, really good role model.
Wow, that's really awesome. That's very powerful. I think moms, they really do a lot for us. I think I would, I would say my mom, she's also my biggest role model. Shams' vision too. You better agree, Shams. Yeah, so I have 2 times, so I'll go again. Session. Boom, that's a good one. In relationship?
Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
He's right there.
Right there. Beautiful.
Yeah, we started dating when we were in high school.
Wow.
We're seniors in college. So.
Wow, that's really powerful. That's awesome. I love that. That's good. All right, so let's go for the last one. Boom. Did you go to college?
Um, yeah, I go to Boston University and I'm a senior now studying business with a concentration in marketing.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. Just want to say thank you so much for coming. Yeah, we're really glad to have you here on the store and the Stars in the Making. You are definitely a star, and we know you're going to make a change for sure. And we're just going to say, I hope you guys love it. Love the episode with Metta here. She is one of the smartest one, and she's going to make a change for sure. And we out. We see you guys in the next episode, right? We out. Peace out.